Hey everyone. Yeah, let's try this again. But as you can see above and or below, depending on how you're watching this, today today I finally restarted my subscription or resubscribed for another year to the Archie Sonic the Hedgehog comic book series. Now I easily could have done the 2-year deal, but I decided not to. But as a precaution, as a backup as well, I ordered issue 272 from Midtown Comics, along with issue 74 of Sonic Universe, issue 75, the 75th issue, as well as the infamous issue 45 of IDW's TMNT, if you know what I mean. So, anyway, yeah, 272, when I get it, is going to mark 200 issues. In fact, resubscribing for another year marks the beginning of 200 issues. It does. And as strange as it sounds, it's the truth. I remember when my subscription began, the first issue I got was actually 73, but then a little later on they sent me issue 72. And I was wondering what this was about, and they basically explained what it was. They gave me an idea that this was the issue that I was supposed to begin with, and 73 was just the issue that had just come out, so that was the first priority or something like that. So, long story short, 272 is officially the beginning, even though issue 72 was the official beginning, even though I got 73 before that. So, you're probably wondering why I started subscribing. Well, I've been reading the comic kind of off and on, sporadically, ever since it started. I remember reading it when it first came out, and we were going through the whole moving phase. I remember a friend of mine, Nathan Lopez, had some of the comics and stuff. So, it was kind of a back and forth deal, and honestly, it was just something that I kept. I would read I would read, like, say, sporadically here and there. In fact, I remember one of the first issues I had was the issue with the Christmas Carol adaptation in it. And I remember one day, and I was only like, I think when the issue came out, I think it was about not even 12. What was I? I was about 14, I think, or a little after 14 when he came out, or just around 14. Now you might think, okay, I'm a kid, I'm a teenager, I should know better. But that was the thing. I was a teenager, and being a teenager, sometimes you don't really have that much of a care in the world, right? You're more like laid back and stuff, and that's kind of like the phase I was going in. But this was early teens, and also the fact that I'd gone through some personal problems. Me and my family had gone through some personal problems that affect you at times mentally, and thank God thank God we got through that, and I got through that. But anyway, I remember that was one of the first issues I had, and being careless, if you will, at the time, I decided to fold it up and stick it into my back pocket, and not thinking that it was still in my back pocket, my mom ends up, and we were living with my grandparents at the time. and not thinking that it was still in my back pocket, my mom took my pants and washed them with the rest of our clothes, or at least with my clothes. And it was like disaster, because all of a sudden she's like, Brian, I think she pointed out that something was it come out of my pants, and I looked, I was like, and I saw what it was, and I was like, oh no. So I lost that issue, and that was the original issue. That was the very first uh, release. That was the first, that was the very first release of that issue. So, but thankfully, thanks to people like Midtown Comics and Mile High Comics, I've been able to re-get that issue again. So, but yeah, the first official distributing of that issue was kind of disastrous for me. Now, I did end up getting other issues after that as well. I remember I got issue 11. Well, not issue 11, but what was it? It was issue 8 or something like that. It was the issue basically where you had the superhero parody, and then you also had them doing a band kind of deal. So, had that issue or those issues. One of them is still intact, believe it or not. The other's kind of like ripped apart. So I still got to figure out what issue. Got to look at the fine print on that and say, okay, what issue are you? So, but thankfully you got archives and stuff as well that allow you to catch up on it. So, but yeah, I bought those issues when they officially first came out. Then got issue 12, which I still have intact, believe it or not. Still have that with the whole Tails getting smart and everything, or becoming super over intelligent and cocky. So I had that issue officially, and then I bought issue 5. I think what was it? I bought issue 15, I think, or 16, whatever it was, which was the second issue with them in their SatAM, with Sally in this case, with her SatAM color scheme and design. So, had that issue, still have it. And after a while, I think I may have gotten another issue after that. I'm not really sure. Gotta look. But yeah, after that, didn't get many issues because, like I said, for one, because, well, I didn't say, well, I said in the original, in the first original attempt for this video, but when I was living in Kansas, at the time a lot of these issues were coming out, I was very fortunate, like I said, to get some of the issues before this. I mean, like I said, I got, I think, what was it, 8, then I got 11, I think I got 12. I think 12 was like the first one I got after I moved here. I mean, after I moved to Kansas, moved back to Kansas, so. Anyway, I got all these issues, and the thing was, though, I lived in a small community. Now, while I live as a small community, but it's bigger in scope because we're big enough to have establishments like where I work, a Walmart, a GameStop, a Little Caesars, several Subways, a Panda Express, a McDonald's, Papa Murphy's, a Mountain Mike's, what else? A Metro PCS, Verizon Wireless. What else is there? Trying to think. We have a CrossFit here in town, so we have several establishments like I said, among probably many others, here in this small community. And the Walmart we have is the biggest Walmart in Stanislaus County. Go figure. But point is, the point is, where I live now, like I say, is a small community, but compared to where I used to live, that was in a sense, is still a old school community. I mean, they have they have maybe one establishment, that's a Dollar General. And that came in, I think, a year before I left or a year after I left or something. So they have that. And there was always talk, and I don't know if there still is talk. And like I said, there was always talk, and I don't know if there still is talk, of getting a Walmart there of some kind. And I think that would be a great idea. But this town was called Oskaloosa, Kansas. And the only time I was ever able to get issues for the comic was when me and my dad would go with my grandma, or me and my dad would go on our own to Topeka or Lawrence. And if we had the money, he would let me get an issue. Or if I had money for my work-study job, which I did do, was basically a janitor job I would do during school, I would be able to get the comic right then and there. Get an issue right then and there if we stopped at the mall or stopped at an area that got it. So the only other times I was able to get issues was when my mom would come and visit. I remember several times she would come and visit, I would get issues like, I got the one where Sally was first roboticized. Yeah, that one, 29 I think. Was it 29? Yeah, I think it was 29. That was the issue she first got roboticized. So I got that one, and I think also at the same time, I think a following year, or maybe I got this through Archie, I can't really remember, I got Sonic in Your Face. So I had several of them, and I also remember getting some of the 48-page specials as well. So I think maybe I got one 48-page special, and that was it while I still lived in Oskaloosa. I can't remember. But anyway, long story short, I would get these issues. I basically got what I could. So finally, 1998 came around. Hold on. I don't know what this is. But anyway, like I said, 1998 would come around. Like I said, 1998 would come around, and I can confirm this because I looked it up. I asked what was 200 months ago, and it said September 8th, or September 7th, 1998, which was 16 years, 8 months ago. Yeah, it's hard to believe. I decided, I think around that time frame, to start subscribing to the comic. And I had an issue. I think it was one of the issues I'd gotten. The following year, because the 2 years after school, after my junior year and even after my senior year, I did this vocational program that had me temporarily for about a week or two live with other people, basically kind of like a dorm environment. While that area now, from what I understand from my dad, has been shut down, that area, that neighborhood is completely gone downhill. And the place where I was to kind of get an idea of what we were doing, of what I'd be in store for, was shut down as well. So Go figure. Anyway, long story short, I had some money. I think I had some money left over from then, and I think I was also starting to get my Social Security disability, my SSI, if you will. Yeah, getting SSI, not getting my SSI and everything, Social Security and Social Security. My benefits basically because of my disability, which is, not mental, not mental. I don't want people to think that, but it was just more physical. It was more internally physical because I had what was known as Hirschsprung's disease. Basically, it has to just do something with your bowels and everything. So let's just leave it at that. But thankfully, that was. Let me put it this way. Thankfully, that was fixed, and thank God that was fixed and everything, and I'm okay now. And that was fixed a long time ago when I was a baby. So let's just put it that way. But because of that disability, because everything, because of that disability, because of the fact that when I would have to go use the restroom, I would have to go, or else I would, have some problems. And I know I'm not the only one out there, but again, let's just leave it at that. Let's just leave it alone, right? So anyway, long story short, this didn't have anything to do with disability, the vocational program, but I think I still had some money left over, and I think I was just getting my benefits at the time because I still lived with my dad, and unfortunately, though, my check would go in his name. It would go to Brian Warmer in care of Frank Warmer. So, long story short, he would give me some money. So one of the things I did with the money I had is I finally subscribed to Archie Comics and subscribed to the Sonic the Hedgehog comic. And the rest is history. The rest is history. So that's what I did. That's what I did. And like I said, I don't remember if it was because of that or it was because of my vocational work check that I had when I was working for a couple of weeks at Washburn, a university in the kitchen area. But like I said, it was either that or my social benefits or something like that. I can't really remember. But again, long story short, like I said, I used whatever I had at that time. I used whatever I had at that time to basically start subscribing to Archie Comics. And the first issue they sent me in the mail was 73, but then later on they sent me 72. And I was wondering why, and I think they kind of explained to me that 72 was the official starting point for me, but 73 was the issue that had just come out, so that was the priority. And 72 was set later on to kind of say, hey, this is the issue you're supposed to start with. So, yeah, kind of confusing, I know. But yeah, I started with that, and like I said, the rest is history. And I've had a very unique run with Archie, I'll say that as far as the subscription goes, because I remember there were several times that, because it started back in 1998, I remember several times for the next year and a half, because I didn't move out of my dad's house until about 2000, when God gave me an opportunity to move. I remember